All right. So why is it important to talk about angles? Angles are really important, especially when we get into geometry type stuff. And what you're going to see, obviously, this year, next year, year after that. Angles are really important if whether you're trying to build something, whether you're trying to play basketball and try to shoot the ball off the backboard, whether you're trying to like understanding like even how you view things, like even how you if you want to see something in a mirror, you got to look at a certain angle, or if you are someone who likes crafts or things like that, you're dealing with angles and shapes all the time. So this geometry stuff is important to know, and so we'll kind of go over some of the more important things here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is this lesson is real simple. It's just about naming the types of angles that we have and how do we name those angles. Okay, so let's start with the one that most people know, are pretty familiar, which is the right angle. Okay, right angle. All right, like I said, I'll have a ruler here to help me out. All right, so a right angle looks like this. All right, and a right angle is 90 degrees. So the way we measure angles is by degrees. Okay, so if something is just flat, it's like 0, and then as it kind of goes all the way around, we can get all the way up to 180. So this is what we call a 90-degree angle. This is a right angle. Okay, we draw arrows here at the end because technically those lines could go on forever. All right, now here's what we're gonna focus a lot of today on is how to name these angles, right? Instead of just saying that angle, you're gonna say they all have names, just like you have a name, and actually you have multiple names. So um, so just like I could call you by your first name, I could call you by your last name, I can call you by your first and last name. Some people call me my first name, or some people just call me Leong or things like that. We all have names, and so we're gonna name this angle. So in order to name this angle, we have to draw a few things here. Okay, so A, C. Okay, so this angle has 4 different names. Okay, now when I say names, like again, your name, right? Not what it's classified. The kind of angle is right angle. So just like the kind of thing you are is human being, that's right angle is kind of like that. As far as your name, each one of you has a specific name. So there's 4 different ways to name this angle. Okay. And it's really important that we understand the notation so we know what we're talking about. The first way is by what we call the vertex. Okay, the vertex is the middle point. All right. The vertex is the most important part of the angle. Okay. So we can name it just by its vertex, just like this. We can call this angle, and this is angle notation. Okay. Angle B. One of the names is angle B. You cannot call this angle A. Okay. You cannot call it angle C. It has to be angle B, as in boy. The other one you can see is there's a number there, so we call this angle 1. Angle 1 is another name for this angle. And now the 2 different names that you could name it is you can also call this angle A, B, C. And notice, it's very important. B, the vertex has to be in the middle, okay? So let me kind of highlight that. The vertex has to be in the middle. So you can't call it CAB. That's not right. You can't call it ACB. Okay. It's ABC, or you can go backwards the other way. Angle CBA. Again, the vertex B has to be in the middle. Why is this important? Okay, because think of it this way. Think of it you just being in a room with a bunch of people. Isn't it important that people know your name instead of just saying, hey, you? Hey, kid, right? Like, does everyone turn around? Like, no, they call you by your specific name, and that way you know who you're talking about, right? So if someone says, um, you know, he went to the bathroom, you're like, who, right? But if you're like, Johnny went to the bathroom, you're like, oh, Johnny, I know Johnny, right? Like, we know by our names, okay? Okay, so right angle, 90 degrees, okay? It makes a 90-degree angle. A whole circle is 360 degrees, so 90 degrees is 1/4 of that. Okay, let's move on. Next type of angle, acute. Which is less than 90 degrees. Okay, so imagine this. If you make it like an L with your hand, all right? If you make an L with your hand, right? With your finger, your index finger, your thumb, if you start pinching it towards your fingers together, those are acute angles. Anything that is towards the pinching is acute. So let me draw a quick little example here. All right. So this is an example of an acute angle, and one way I like to remember it is acute. It's so cute. Acute angles are so cute. They're so small. They're tiny. Okay. All right. Less than 90 degrees. Okay. So this angle also has 4 names. Go ahead and write those 4 names. 4 names for these angles. So again, there's 2 things. There's what kind of angle it is, and then what's its name, right? So the kind of angle that this is an acute angle. The names, there are 4 of them. Hopefully you kind of get that. We have angle E, right? We have angle, yes, we have angle 2. Someone put in the chat angle DEF. Yep, very good. And then the last one. And it's really important that you guys put the angle notation, the little angle sign. Okay, so make sure you're putting this little angle sign in front of each. That way we know you're talking about an angle. So angle 2, because the 2 is right here. So you call that angle 2. Someone asked the question, why is it angle 2? And the last one is, yes, angle FED. Very good. Those are the different names. Now, it's not always going to be like this. Like, you might not have 3 letters, and that's okay. You might just have an angle E, and that's fine. You might just have a number 2, and that's fine too. So sometimes you might not have the numbers, and that's okay too. So we'll see lots of different examples as we go through this chapter. Okay. Okay. So there you go. Getting the hang of it so far? All right. Someone earlier in the chat asked this question. What about obtuse angles? Yes, that's exactly it. Obtuse. Obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees. Greater than 90 degrees. So if you can imagine, like we're using our thumb and our finger example, right? Our thumb and our index finger is at 90 degrees. If you try to open that up, make that even wider, okay? It's a wider, bigger angle, right? So I'll draw one of these here for you. All right, here's an example of an obtuse angle, and then I'll go ahead and have you guys write the, I'll have you guys go ahead and write the names. All right, can you guys go ahead and put the names of this angle in the chat? And you can type in just kind of using, when you're doing typing, you can kind of use the carets kind of next to the letter M. There's the left and the greater than, less than sign kind of. You can do those for your angle notations. Okay. All right, so what do I see? Someone put in the chat. All right, very good. Yes, very good. So I've seen some people put angle H in the chat. Very good. I've got angle 3. Yep, that's very good. Okay. I had someone put angle G. Angle G would not work. Okay. Just remember, it's got to be the middle. The middle is the focus here. All right. We also got someone else put angle GHI. Very good. And lastly, angle IH and G. Very good. Okay. That's it. 4 names. Real simple stuff. Yeah, acute angles are a little easier to work with than obtuse angles, but they're both not too bad. And again, when they're talking about the angle, I'm talking about this part right here. Okay, so from this starting point to this starting point or end point, this is the angle, right? It's wider. The wider it is, we know that it's going to be obtuse. Now, there's a point where it stops being obtuse, and that's the last one. And this one's kind of a weird one. This one's always been kind of weird to me. But we call this one a straight angle. And this one is 180 degrees. And believe it or not, it's exactly what it sounds like. Go ahead and name these angles, please. It's kind of weird. I know it doesn't seem like a straight line should be an angle, but it's a type of angle, and we call it a straight angle, which is a straight line. So this also has 4 names. 4 names, 4 names. What are those 4 names? Why don't you guys go ahead and put that in the chat? And one thing also you'll notice with these, generally we use capital letters. Okay, so you're going to see more of that. I think it's just so it's a little bit easier to see, and we know the capitals. So like the letter L, for example, we don't like lowercase l. So keep it in mind. And then again, make sure you're putting the angle sign. Okay, that's a good habit. All right, to make sure you put that sign. Someone asked in chat, is there a name for 360-degree angle? I guess that's a circle if it's 360 degrees. So, all right. So no, we don't really go past 180, because if you go past 180, now you start dealing with. Wait, sorry, you can go past 180. You can, but we're not going to deal with those this time. Okay. All right, very good. So I got angle K, angle 4, angle JKL, and angle LKJ. Okay. The biggest mistakes people make are they just don't put those 3 letters in the right order, right? They don't have the K in the middle. All right, so here's a little challenge for you guys. Here's a little bit of a challenge. And you can see here with my ruler that makes 90 degrees. All right, here's my challenge for you guys. Go ahead and draw this little diagram here. I forgot also this little box means 90 degrees. So if you ever see that box, that means you have a 90-degree angle. All right. Go ahead and just kind of sketch this little diagram. It's okay if it doesn't look exactly like mine. Now, this is the importance of why we need more than one name for an angle. For example, if I said which one is angle N, well, they're all angle N, aren't they? Isn't N in the middle of all of them? Yeah. So this is where we need all three letters. If it's ever like in a dispute, you need to use all three letters. So this is what I want you to do. Can you tell me there are two right angles in this little diagram? Can you tell me what they are? Two right angles. Go ahead and put that in the chat. What are the two right angles in this diagram? And make sure you put the angle sign. I want you guys to get in the habit of that. All right, good. We got some people figuring it out. Very good. And remember, you can't just say angle N because they're all angle N, right? All of them have N in the middle. So you got to give me the three-letter names. Okay, we're getting close here. I'm going to give people a little more chance. All right, I'm seeing some people getting it. Very good. Okay. The first right angle that I see, 90-degree angle, is a lot of you guys are putting R, M, N, R. Very good. Now remember, that's the same thing as R and M, okay? So if you did this instead, that's the same thing, okay? The second right angle is here, R, N, P, or P and R. Oops. Okay, you guys see that? Two different angles that are, yeah, two different 90-degree angles. Whenever there's one 90-degree angle, it usually creates another one. Okay, so these are the two different kinds. Again, I know there's four here, but these are all like this is one angle right here, and that's one angle, just named differently. Okay, next challenge. Can you name the two acute angles here? There are two. And what I would guess, what are the acute angles in this diagram? Someone asked a really good question, Chad. So you always look at the inside of the angle. So someone asked a good question like, isn't an obtuse and a acute angle kind of the two sides of the same coin? So that's a good question. So for example, here's an acute angle, right? This is an acute angle. You always want to look at the inside part. All right, very good. I got some people that are definitely getting them right in here. Okay. And then on the flip side of this same question was, isn't an obtuse angle the same as like an acute angle? Like, yes, this is technically an acute angle here, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this part. Yeah, so we don't look at the outside part because there's no line there. There's no angle there. All right, so let's go ahead. That's a really good question. All right, so here we go. The acute angles that we see, I'll highlight them, is we have R and Q. If you guys can see that one. And if you have Q and R, that's totally fine. And the other acute angle that you might see is QNP. You guys see that one? Or PNQ. So those are the two different ones, okay? RNQ and QNP, or PNQ, QNR, either way. All right, really quick. Last ones. Can you name the obtuse? There's one obtuse angle out there. Only, well, I guess. Yeah. Anyone see the what is the obtuse angle? All right. Anyone see what the obtuse angle is? Yeah, some of you guys are seeing it real good. Good job. All right, the obtuse angle is right here. This one's kind of hard to see, but it's hidden. MNQ. And that's a really important thing to be able to do in these types of problems is kind of like be able to separate. Like if you can kind of erase that line QR or NR from your minds, then you'll be in good shape. All right, so the obtuse angle is angle MNQ or QNM. Remember, you can go backwards. Okay. Yep, QNM is fine. And then lastly, the straight angle. What is the straight angle? This one should be pretty simple, right? It's just the one that goes straight across. MNP or PNM. Okay. All right. So it's pretty simple stuff. I know we took a little bit longer than we'd like, but it's pretty simple. And if you're naming these things, they get a little bit confusing though. But again, the important thing is if you're able to name things, then you can tell what you're talking about, right? If someone says, "Hey, angle MNQ, what kind of angle is that?" Well, you know what MNQ is. MNQ is that obtuse angle right there in the blue that I'm showing you. Right? I think for your homework, it's all it is on the IXL W2 is just doing this stuff. Really simple. What kind of angle is it? Can you give me the name? It should not take you very long. And I think you could probably get up to 100 pretty easy. Okay. All right. So again, we went over 4 different types of angles: right angles, 90-degree angles. Make a little box there. Acute angles, which are less than 90. Obtuse angles, which are more than 90. And a straight angle, which is a straight line 180 degrees. And then how to name them 4 different ways. And that's it.